You can live an extraordinary life. And the only reason that you don't is because you're either not ready or you don't want to. Those two things go together, actually, because the way that you live this extraordinary life is by becoming your authentic self. And that's a journey. That's a journey of your personal development or ascension. And I'll tell you that I know that because that's what I lived. I said something earlier. I said, I didn't know I was a prophet because, see, that's someone who's received divine guidance and is so connected to source that they could give guidance to others. And that's what I've done. Except I didn't know I was doing that. I shared something earlier, and I'll put a link in here because it was a message that I received on February 19th of 2024. I put it on my site, anyadvicefortoday.com, but I'll put a link here because you will see that I began receiving Wilhelm in 1989. That was the first written message that I had. And on that date, that was a really powerful date because everything is aligned in the universe. We just figured that out at a certain time. And I was guided to bring forth that information at that time. And then what I did in this message, and I'd love for you to have it because it's a little ebook, as I call it. Because when you read it, you will see how each year on February 19th, I received guidance that we could accept because it's a process. You evolve in your consciousness. It's the only way that you live your life or discover who you are. It's your consciousness. And you have to become willing to move to a higher consciousness. And sometimes that's really challenging, depending on the trauma that you've experienced in your life, depending on the life that you've lived and gone through things that you're still holding on to, where you haven't forgiven yourself, where you haven't understood what you did or the mistakes that you made. And it's the same for every aspect. You're only don't have income or broke because you're not willing to become yourself, or you're not willing to go through the journey of breaking down the barriers why you kept it away. I can say all of these things because I've done it. I know. And this is why I understand everyone. A couple of years ago, 3 years ago, I think it was, I did this fun little thing. I said, ask me any question because I just had little meetings with people for 15 minutes or so because I knew I could tell you what was going on with you. I knew I was really intuitive and I could sit with anyone and see your blockages. I could see why you're not succeeding. I can see why you're not taking the next step to become this important, brilliant person. And it's only because you either are not ready or you don't want to. I wish I could tell you it was something else, but there isn't. Those are the things that I moved through. I was never ready to tell anyone who I was. I was never ready to tell you that I was receiving cosmic guidance, that I was doing automatic writing, even. And then I was never going to do live channeling. That was really kind of frightening. But see, that's another aspect of consciousness. And so those 35 years, more than that now, I've shared many pictures about that because I did it every single day. I probably have like 10 to 12,000 pages that I have written that comprise this philosophy that I've come up with. And that philosophy says every single person is born with worth and value within them. There are no humans, no person ever who doesn't have that. They just have blockages and they've been generational and they've gone on for the longest time. I can understand that because, see, if you've listened to a Wilhelm channeling session, you'll hear that I had ancient memory, which also I didn't want to accept because I wasn't ready. I even went to and had a Akashic Records reading done. You can hear that. That's on my YouTube channel, where I was told that in this lifetime, I was meant to bring in something that was going to open the minds of people that would cause them to live these really amazing lives. And I wrote it all down because it was a dream. I wrote it all down. I put it in a folder and I hid it away, just like you might have done with something that you're supposed to do. Because, see, I know everyone has that something they're meant to do in this world. And this is the best time for you to do it. We're all energy. The universe is energy. And so, what we choose to do with our lives, we are emitting a type of energy into the world. However, at this time, we're moving through a big change, a transition in the world. It's not accidental that we're having wars, that you're seeing anger and all kinds of things going on because I knew all of that. Being this, channel, I was able to receive all of this information. When I went to Gaia last week and filmed Beyond Belief with George Nuri, he asked me one question at the end, and this is the one question you're going to live with for the rest of your life. Because he said, do you have any sort of disappointments? I said, I don't have any disappointments with this work because I know that it is changing lives, and I feel great about that. I know that when I die, I'm leaving something that's going to be of great benefit to so many people and to our planet, because that's how I have to look at it. Being this prophet, I care so much about the existence of the world. I can't help it. It's just this innate thing that's always been within me. You will hear that or read it in that first message in the link that I'll leave with you. Because if you read it, you'll see it's basically an ebook. And as you go through it, you will see your brain change. We all operate the same way. It's our consciousness. Nobody has any more than anyone else. It's just, are we willing to move through the blockages? Because that's all we have is generational blockages that impact us, that does not allow us to live the lives we should have, and doesn't allow us to create the world we could have either. Because that's what's going on right now. We're making a decision about what kind of world we're going to live in. And I'm choosing to live in a world with consciousness upraised, upraising the consciousness of so many others, which is what was told to me that I was meant to do. But accepting that was so challenging. But now I have to. See, because when I did that show, it's going to come out in a couple of months, I'm not sure, but it's going to be seen by thousands. And when they listen to what I said, I know they're going to want this work. I'm a little uncomfortable in certain ways because I have another problem. I love helping everyone, and I know that I can't do that with thousands of people at one time. It's never been that. So then it becomes supply and demand, basically. But I'm telling you, what happens is you start to learn who you are, you move through your trauma, you become courageous, you become empowered, you know your life purpose. You start to manifest things in your life because now the energy of who you are is coming through. Now you all of a sudden start having better relationships. And now you start moving in different ways and you see the world differently as well. And you could even heal, physical healing, mental, emotional, whatever it is. I can say all of these things and tell you because I've done them all. That's why I'm saying it. And I love giving this to whoever wants to have it. Um, my doctor last week who says, I'm 73, by the way, and he's saying, wait a minute, why do you have these great numbers looking at everything from my blood work, from my physical? I said, yeah, it keeps getting better. I'm going in the reverse way. That's what can happen. If you studied anyone who's talking about ascension or all these, self-actualization, you will see that that is possible. And I can say it because that's what's happened. I've had so many weird illnesses and things that I couldn't figure out and doctors couldn't figure out. And because I've received this work, they're healed. And sometimes I don't talk about it because I know if you're suffering from something, you're in pain, you're going through some sort horrible thing, you think that you're being punished or something horrible has happened to you. You're not supposed to have anything. That is never true. It is never true. It's just that you haven't trained your brain to move out of the limitations that are there. All of these things I can tell you because I've done them. So I do know, but I also know the other side. I had one member saying, well, when do I get to the other side? And I said, you're not going to get to the other side like that. You've got to decide that you're going to embrace who you are and you've got to relax. That's what happens. But we're going to move through a period where there are so many energies happening in our world now that it's going to be a little uncomfortable for some people. But that's why I did this work. And I'm so thrilled because now I'm going back to Gaia in a couple of times probably, but I'm going to do this channeling session in October, which is going all over to 180 countries. So, yeah. But I just wanted to give you this today because I want you to choose yourself. I receive everything in advance, in terms of information, in terms of consciousness. And I couldn't have told you that I was doing that or how it happened, but that is what has occurred. And if you go to anyadvicefortoday.com, that's the website where the messages are, look at the date for tomorrow, which will be June the 16th, actually, and just look at 2023. And the messages say yes to yourself, because that's what we're all meant to do, is to own who we are, our authentic self. There's no reason for anyone to feel insignificant, feel less than another, not have the life and career they want to have, or not have the relationships and all the abundance. There's no reason other than you're not ready or you don't want to. So I hope you decide that you want to. Please subscribe to this channel, share it with others, but also check out my work. You will see. This is where it is now. Where it is now, those are the things. It's not you will see it says 31 days, but it's so much more than that because I have so much more that's going in there. So it's much longer, and you own it forever. Because what happens is once you go through it, you start to understand who you are and you come to this awareness and things get better. And then you say, wait a minute, I've moved through so much. Let me go back and do it again. And so many people are doing that. And you'll probably hear them talk about it because that's what this work does. It's taken me so many years to be able to tell you this and to be able to bring this forth, but now I have it. And so you could have it. Just know there is no reason, zero reason for you not to live this extraordinary life. And I know that. And I know the times that I held myself back and what that brought. And I also know what happens when you take the steps and move through that and decide to become you. All right. See you soon.